Turning failure into opportunity. Failure often feels like a dead end. It can shake your confidence. It can make your future seem uncertain. Yet many people and companies have shown that failure is not the opposite of success, but it is part of it. The keys lie in how you respond to setbacks, how you respond to what's going on. There's an old quote, it's not what happens, it's how you respond to it. Anyway, what I'd like to do is guide you through some practical steps to turn failure into opportunity and to grow achievement as you go through these particular trials and tribulations of your life. Understanding what went wrong. The first step after failure is to analyze whatever happened, to analyze it and get a clear understanding of whatever it was that went awry. Could it be a small thing? You could literally be that close to having success, but if you give up, you're not going to get there. So avoid blaming others or making excuses. Instead, ask specific questions as to why you failed, why it didn't work, why things didn't go the way that they wanted to go, and then understand exactly what caused that failure. So, again, what exactly caused that failure? Next, where were the warning signs? What were the warning signs that you missed or that were missed during the process? It may not have been something that you missed. It may have been unprogrammed or just certain things that fell out of place. The next thing is what decisions and or actions led to the outcome that you presently have. Now, failure is produced, excuse me, failure is something that happens. And when it happens, it produces a kind of a launch of a failure. You have to review your customer feedback. You need to look at your marketing strategy. You need to, look at your product or production issues or your relationship. How did you speak to that person? How did you address them? What was your facial movement? What was your temperament? What was the volume that you used? All of those things could click into your failure, and that could be a conversation, not just a project. And that could happen in your house, whatever. But this needs to be an honest assessment that will help you identify what the root causes are so that you don't repeat the same mistakes again. So what I'd like to talk about is a mindset and a mind shift. But before that, one last thing. Also understand that sometimes you could be set up to fail. And that's something that you need to keep in mind as you move forward if you're going to deal with these particular corporation, product, people, whatever it is, relationship. Find out where you are and where they are as you're doing your evaluation, and be fair and honest. Don't get a one-way look at it. Anyway, shifting your mindset about failure. Many people see failure as a personal flaw or permanent defeat. Changing this mindset is critical. And the view of failure, you need to view failure as a learning experience and a chance for you to improve, all right? For you to shift and encourage resiliency and creativity as you move forward. All right, a lot of people talk about Thomas Edison. I don't really want to talk about Thomas Edison. I want to talk about people that throughout history that have been faced with insurmountable difficulties, problems, and they've found a way to get around it. They've found a way to make it work. And I don't need to give you a particular name. There's thousands of them out there. Historical people that have done stuff that is amazing. In some cases, historical people that have done stuff that most of us weren't aware of until now. Anyway, for you, what you need to do is, 1, set clear, realistic goals for your improvement. Once you understand the failure, set specific goals to address those particular issues. And from these, you're going to make your goals. So your goal should be, 1, it should be measurable. 2, it should be achievable. 3, it should be time bound. Okay? For instance, you want to lose weight. Well, there's certain things that you're going to need to do to lose weight. 1, what are you eating? 2, how much are you eating? 3, are you exercising? 4, what fits your specific body and your temperament that's going to move you forward? What are the things that you need to do, that you know you need to do, to make the changes to develop what you need to develop? So developing a plan to test your new approach. So develop a plan. Develop a plan on how you're going to reach the goal that you want to reach, how you're going to find success. All right, tuning, and from there you'll be turning failure into an opportunity, and that requires action. Create a plan and try new methods based on what you have learned. This plan should include steps to implement change, resources that you need, how to measure your particular progress based on where you want to go. Those things will get you there. All right. If you want to write a book and the publisher rejected it, then maybe you need to rewrite it, or maybe you need to self-publish. Maybe you need to look at your manuscript and make sure that your manuscript is actually hitting all of the areas that you want to hit. You know, what was it? Measure twice, cut once. That's a really good and sound particular way of looking at things. The next thing is that you need to build a support network. All right. Facing failure alone can be overwhelming. It truly can. But surrounding yourself with people who offer honest feedback, encouragement, and advice, good advice, mind you, all right? These are the things that can help you. This network might include mentors, colleagues, friends, professional groups, all right? There's a ton of information out there, but again, sometimes finding the right information can be the hard part. Now, your support system, it can help to maintain your motivation and provide you with different perspectives that can speak with new ideas, all right? And then sharing their experience, how to reduce the stigma surrounding failure. Some people are just negative Neds and negative Nellies. You need to remove yourself from them. You don't want a yes man or a yes woman, but you want people that are going to give you the honest truth, and also not just share the problem with you, but also share solutions with you that actually make sense. And then you evaluate them as an individual and decide which thing is going to go better. Not who's telling you, it's what they're telling you. Because sometimes the person who you think might have the answer, their answer might be just as crazy as somebody else's. All right? So after failure, you want to focus not only on the big goals, but instead you want to recognize the small achievements along the way as you go. Those small steps get you closer and closer to where you want to be. They also show you where you might need to make some other adjustments, to where when you did that first jump, you were on the goal, but you were just on the goal. You want to get more to the center if possible, but also don't look for perfection. Understand that each time that you make a success or have a success, that's something for you to learn on. All right? That's something for you to use your forward thinking and your ability to adjust, your ability to create, and then go from there as you adjust. The next thing is learning to adapt quickly. Opportunity often comes disguised in challenges. All right? Being flexible and willing to adjust and approaching things is vital. Being flexible and having the ability to adjust is vital. If something isn't working, don't hesitate to change your tactics or the direction that you're going in so that you can get there. Because at the end of the day, you have a goal and you want to reach that goal. But you want to keep your morals, your ethics, and of course your principles. All right? A startup that fails, for example, to attract the users with one app feature might pivot and focus on another feature that users find more reliable, and quickly adapt to increase the changes within that and turn that failure into a success. Next thing, use failure to build your emotional strength. Again, use failure to build your emotional strength. Sorry about that. Experiencing failure can strengthen your emotion and emotional resilience. Each feedback can teach you patience, persistence, and how to manage stress better. These are qualities that are essential for long-term success, because you're always going to run into problems. Something's always going to go a little bit to the left or the right when you needed it to go straight. Okay? Next, keep a journal. I call it a fail journal. What you want to do is you want to write down failures of what you've learned and how you can use those, because they can be powerful tools. It can help you track your patterns and reflect on growth. And also it can remind you and help you to remind yourself of failure as part of the process. A failure journal might include what happened, how you felt, what you learned, what you will do differently the next time, and review this journal regularly. All right. A lot of us don't want to look at our failures, but review your failures regularly and reinforce that positive attitude towards failure. A real life story about failure is J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling is the person that wrote Harry Potter. She faced multiple rejections, but instead of giving up, she kept on fighting. She kept on working to improve her manuscript and kept submitting it. And her persistence ended up paying off. All right. Her failure turned into one of the most successful franchises in history. Again, I hope that this was useful and that you got something out of this. This is Mr. Z Inspires. And if you have found somebody that you think would like or could get something from this, please give it to them or share it with them. And also, I ask that you please like, share, and follow the content. And again, if you'd like to learn more about us, it's www.mrzinspires.com. Again, www.mrzinspires.com. And we challenge you to, depending on who you are, to look at the rebuild process, which is a program that we offer. Anyway, with that, thank you for your time and patience, and you guys have a great day.